Formula One is in the middle of one of its most explosive pre-seasons in years, and we haven't even turned a wheel in anger yet. Max Verstappen, four-time world champion and the face of the sport, just dropped a bombshell that has the entire paddock rattled. He called the new 2026 cars Formula E on steroids, and flat out said they are not fun to drive. Not exactly what you want to hear from your biggest star. So here's what's going on. For 2026, Formula One has completely overhauled its power units, moving to a near 50-50 split between the combustion engine and electric power. That sounds great on paper. But the real-world consequence is that drivers will have to lift off the throttle on straights to harvest energy for the battery, the same kind of energy management that Formula E has been doing for years. Verstappen is furious about it, and he's made no secret of that. "A winning car for me, that doesn't matter. It needs to be fun to drive as well," he said. He even told the media he's exploring other things outside of Formula One to have fun at, which immediately sent the internet into meltdown. Is Max actually thinking about leaving? He later clarified his position, saying, "Not liking something doesn't mean I don't want to do it," and added, "I still want to win. I still want to compete at the highest level, but the damage was done." Liberty Media privately know how serious this is. Losing Verstappen would be a PR catastrophe. And Verstappen isn't alone. Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso have both echoed his frustrations. Hamilton described the new cars as feeling like GP2 cars due to the loss of downforce, while Alonso revealed that through some of the fastest corners on the calendar, cars are traveling up to 50 km per hour slower just to recharge their batteries. Alonso put it bluntly, "This is not the Formula One we knew. That is a staggering loss of speed that changes the entire DNA of what Formula One is." The FIA did hold an emergency driver survey to gather feedback and has agreed on some refinements that'll go to the World Motorsport Council, but they've also made clear no major changes are happening before Melbourne. Drivers and fans are just going to have to wait and see. Now, on top of all of that, there's a genuine engine controversy brewing that could shake the championship before it even starts. Both Mercedes and Red Bull have been accused of exploiting a loophole in the new compression ratio rules. The FIA only tests the compression ratio when the car is stationary and the engine is cold, meaning that at higher operating temperatures on track, the limit may not be being enforced. Ferrari, Audi, and Honda were so angry about it they wrote an open letter to the FIA demanding action. Red Bull's technical director Ben Hodgkinson shrugged it off, saying, "Quite honestly, I think all the fuss is much ado about nothing." But the FIA has now proposed a new test at 130 degrees Celsius to close the loophole from August 2026 onwards. If that advantage turns out to be worth up to 4/10 per lap, as some are claiming, it could already have shaped the early championship standings by the time it gets fixed. Then there's the chaos at the very start of the race itself, literally. During pre-season testing in Bahrain, the paddock got a shock when practice starts went wrong and Franco Colapinto's Alpine slid out of control onto the grass, narrowly missing other stationary cars. The reason? The new power units need drivers to rev the engine at high revs for around 10 seconds to spool up the turbo before launching a complex and, some argue, dangerous procedure. McLaren's team boss Andrea Stella pushed for an extended start procedure to give drivers more time. Ferrari, who had actually asked about this during 2025 and were told nothing would change, had already designed their turbo differently to need less spool-up time, so they blocked the change. Hamilton tried to calm things down, saying, "It's definitely not dangerous, it's just a different procedure." But Colapinto himself wasn't quite so relaxed, admitting it was a bit of a moment. "Not going to lie, I had no idea where the car was going to end up." And with Pierre Gasly telling fans to turn your TV on for the start in Australia, it might be memorable, drivers don't know quite what's going to happen when those lights go out in Melbourne. Speaking of Ferrari and Hamilton, his second season with the Scuderia has already hit a bump. Ferrari still hasn't confirmed a permanent race engineer for him going into 2026 after Riccardo Adami was moved to a different role inside the team. Hamilton himself said the mid-season switch that's coming will be detrimental to his performance. That is an extraordinary thing to admit publicly about your own team before the season even begins. He also lost over 2.5 hours of running to a technical issue during the second Bahrain test, leaving him behind rivals like Mercedes and McLaren on mileage. When asked how he felt about the lost running, Hamilton simply said, "It's frustrating, but we'll work through it. This team has done it before." The silver lining? Ferrari did unveil a bizarre and genuinely never-before-seen rear wing during testing, where the flap literally flips 180 degrees, a design that has got engineers across the paddock talking about what kind of aerodynamic advantage it might bring. Meanwhile, Mercedes and their young rookie Kimi Antonelli set the fastest time of all pre-season testing with a 1:32.803, putting him ahead of McLaren's Oscar Piastri by just 0.058 seconds. Verstappen ended up around 0.3 further back, though at this stage nobody is truly showing their hand. Antonelli, remarkably calm for a 1.8-year-old in his first pre-season, said, "We still have work to do, but I feel good in the car, really good." With the Australian Grand Prix just weeks away on March 8th, Formula One is heading into its most uncertain and potentially controversial season in a long time. New engines, new drama, new controversies, and the sport's biggest star questioning whether he's even enjoying himself anymore. What do you think? Are Verstappen's concerns about the 2026 cars valid, or is he overreacting? Will Mercedes dominate with their engine advantage, or will Ferrari and Red Bull find a way to fight back? And could this actually be the season that finally gives us a new world champion in Lewis Hamilton? Drop your predictions in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more F1 news. I'll catch you in the next one.